Story begins with Yeo Jung having lunch with his mom. During their meal, he tells her that he has finally made a decision. He wants to quit his current job and open his own practice in Semyong. He also admits that the girl he likes lives there. Meanwhile, Yeonjin visits a shaman with her mother, hoping to find a way to solve the Dong-en problem. Her mother criticizes her, saying she is incompetent, and suggests calling someone from the Ministry of Education to get Dong-eun fired. But Yeonjin stops her. She is afraid that if Dong-eun loses her job, she will fight back and reveal everything. Yeonjin fears that Ha-ye-sol will discover what kind of person she really is. Her mother then advises her to stop looking for answers in the past and focus on the present. Elsewhere, Dong-eun gets an urgent message from Hyun-nam asking her to call right away. They meet at their usual spot, and Hyun-nam shares her concern about not being able to find Myung-oh. She last saw him going into a travel agency, and now she fears he may have switched sides. Dong-eun tells her that there's also the possibility that Myung-oh is dead, and that would not work in their favor. Hyun-nam asks directly if Dong-eun was the one who killed him. She wants to know so she can be ready to protect her. But Dong-eun makes it clear. Whether she killed him or not, Hyun-nam doesn't need to know. She reminds her that they are getting too close and that they should only stick to their contract. Meanwhile, Jae-jun finally returns home after being away for many days. But when he looks around, he realizes that Myung-oh has stolen all his luxury clothes and watches. He immediately tries to call him, but there's no answer, because the dead don't pick up the phone. Yeonjin meets with the police chief and asks if he can dig up someone's private information. He tells her that he hasn't found anything yet and that it's not an easy job. While they talk, Yeonjin gets a call from Jae-jun, but she ignores it. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Dong-eun turns to Gu Sung-hee for help. She wants to know if Myung-oh really left the country as he had planned. After checking, Gu Sung-hee confirms that Myung-oh never left. His disappearance leaves Dong-eun questioning her next move. She then decides to focus on Do-young, planning to make him the butterfly that will set her revenge in motion. Unaware of what's coming, Do-young finishes building a large-scale Go board game on a rooftop, not knowing that he is about to become part of Dong-eun's plan. In the meantime, Sara struggles to get her drugs from Myung-oh, who is still not replying to any of her messages. At the same time, Hye-jung is also searching for him. She recently received a letter from Myung-oh threatening to reveal her secrets. With her marriage to a chaebol on the line, she's desperate to make sure he doesn't ruin it. Meanwhile, as Dong-eun goes about her day, she suddenly gets a call from Hyun-nam. She warns her that a car is following her. Dong-eun is shocked to realize Hyun-nam was tailing her too, but Hyun-nam quickly reassures her and says she'll help handle the situation. Dong-eun manages to cause a small accident with the men in the car. They decide to settle the damage with cash. The driver then asks for her phone number and tells her to meet him with the money once he calls. After the incident, Dong-eun meets with Hyun-nam again. Hyun-nam explains that she had actually been following Jae-jun at the school when she noticed the men tailing Dong-eun. Realizing she had doubted her, Dong-eun feels embarrassed. She apologizes, and the two of them make up. Jae-jun asks Hye-jung if she knows Hye-sol's birthday. He tells her that he believes he is the girl's real father, but Hye-jung thinks he's being ridiculous. She tells him that Yeonjin might not only be with him, but possibly with other men too. She even suggests that maybe Myung-oh and Yeonjin are together, which is why neither of them is answering their phones. Meanwhile, Do-young receives a letter from Myung-oh. To find out more, he visits Jae-jun at his golf club and asks if he knows where Myung-oh is. Jae-jun asks if Do-young also got a threatening letter from him. They both realize they are searching for the same person. They exchange contact cards and agree to inform each other if they find him. During their talk, Do-young notices that the cigarette brand Jae-jun smokes is the same one his wife smokes. Afterward, Jae-jun leaves a message on Myung-oh's phone, warning that if his threats are connected to Ha-ye-sol's true identity, then he will kill him. Jae-jun later receives the DNA test results, and it confirms that Ha-ye-sol is indeed his biological daughter. Meanwhile, Yeojung moves to Semyong and rents a house. He sends a message to Dong-eun, reminding her that they never finished their Go match. At that moment, Dong-eun is at a mechanic shop getting her car fixed. When she hears the sound of pork sizzling on a pan, it triggers memories of when she was burned. Overwhelmed, she begins to have an anxiety attack. Later, she decides to visit Yeojung and finally tells him about her revenge plan. At first, Yeojung worries about how the revenge might destroy her. But everything changes when Dong-eun undresses and shows him the scars all over her body. Moved, Yeojung promises to help her. He tells her he will join the hunt and be her executioner. The glory begins with Yeojung as he prepares the final details for his new clinic. While working, he remembers the night when Dong-eun finally opened up to him. That night, Dong-eun spoke about her interest in Do-hyun. She explained that in her plan for revenge, she wanted Yeon-jin to end up completely alone once everything was over. Yeojung, wanting to support her in every way, gave Dong-eun the passcode to his apartment. He told her that she could come by whenever she wanted and make a move on the go board at his house. That way, even if she didn't answer his calls or reply to his texts, he would still know she had been there and that she was safe. Meanwhile, Do-young is busy looking through old photos. He is trying to understand more about Yeonjin's past and her connections with her friends from high school. Curious, he asks her if she still often talks with Jae-jun or Myung-oh. Yeonjin quickly replies that she and Myung-oh are not close. She then asks Do-young if Myung-oh had been threatening him. Do-young finds Yeonjin's answer suspicious. He notices that whenever he asks about Myung-oh, all of her friends give the exact same kind of response. This makes him feel that something is being hidden from him. Later, Yeonjin secretly checks the recent locations that Do-young has been visiting. She discovers that he went to Jae-jun's golf club. At the same time, Hyun-nam continues her quiet investigation. She decides to visit the shaman that Yeonjin and her mother usually meet. But this visit doesn't give her any useful information. Still, Hyun-nam doesn't stop there. She later helps Dong-eun to figure out the truth about the men who had been following her and trying to take money. Hyun-nam follows those men after they collect the money from Dong-eun. She eventually learns that they are working for the police chief, a man who is very close to Yeonjin's family. This discovery makes Dong-eun start connecting things together. She begins to suspect that these people might also be linked to Myung-oh's disappearance. Dong-eun then tells Hyun-nam something important. She says that if Myung-oh is really dead, then it would be in their best interest to be the first ones to find his body. Dong-eun remembers the secret deal she once had with Myung-oh. He had promised her that he would get a confession from Yeonjin, proving that she was the one who killed So-hee. But before he could bring her that confession, Myung-oh suddenly disappeared. Dong-eun now believes that Yeonjin might have killed him, especially after he threatened to reveal her as So-hee's murderer. Meanwhile, Yeojung makes a big change in his life. After leaving the hospital, his mother is left behind to handle the everyday responsibilities on her own. One day, she receives something shocking, a letter from the man who killed her husband. This man is still in prison, yet he keeps sending letters to Yeojung. In those letters, he cruelly describes how much he enjoyed murdering his father. Yeojung has never been able to move past this loss. He still carries deep anger and unbearable pain. Many times, he even imagines himself stabbing the killer to death. This heavy trauma is one of the main reasons he had been attending therapy. But after moving to Semyeong, Yeojung suddenly stops going to his therapy sessions. Dong-eun arranges a meeting with Sarah at her father's church so she can collect the money she demanded. During their conversation, Sarah tries to defend herself. She tells Dong-eun that she has already repented for her sins and that God is on her side. But Dong-eun does not take her words seriously. Instead, she mocks her and says that she hopes she really does go to heaven, because here on earth, she is going to make her life a living hell. Sarah, shocked by this, tries to ask Dong-eun what she means by that and what exactly she is planning. But Dong-eun doesn't give her an answer. She simply leaves the church, leaving Sarah worried and uneasy. Later, Dong-eun focuses on Hyun-nam. She takes her to complete an assessment test and then reveals her real plan. Dong-eun tells Hyun-nam that she intends to send her to study in the United States. She explains that she can no longer continue tutoring her herself, but with the money she has collected from Sarah, she wants to secure Hyun-nam's education abroad. Meanwhile, Do-young grows more curious about his wife's past. He hears from his daughter, Hye-sol, that her teacher actually went to the same high school as Yeon-jin. This makes Do-young even more suspicious, and he becomes determined to learn more about Hye-sol's teacher. He also promises his daughter that he will come to her upcoming daddy's event at school. Do-young is not the only one growing curious. Jae-joon also begins to wonder what kind of man Do-young really is. He tries to dig for answers by asking Hye-jung during her wedding dress fitting. Hye-jung replies sharply, saying that Do-young is a nice son of a bitch and that you have to look very closely to truly understand him. But Hye-jung herself is dealing with her own problems. She is unsettled after receiving the damaging photos that Myung-oh once sent her. To find out more, she decides to visit his apartment. There, she unexpectedly runs into Sarah, who had come with the same idea. While searching, Sarah discovers her hidden drugs, but Hye-jung leaves without finding any real answers. Sarah then shows Hye-jung something important, a plane ticket that belonged to Myung-oh. She explains that it looked like he had been planning to leave, but now he has gone completely missing. The two of them decide to report this information to Yeon-jin. However, Yeon-jin dismisses their concerns, telling them that if they are really worried about Myung-oh, they should report it to the police. Afterward, the group talks about their last conversations with Myung-oh. Yeon-jin leaves the meeting acting calm, but deep down, she's clearly shaken by the news. Yeon-jin is also unsettled. She grows worried about what Do-young and Jae-joon might have talked about. She tries to call Do-young several times, but he does not answer her phone calls or reply to her messages. Feeling anxious, she even goes to his place to check on him, but he is not there either. After many failed attempts, Do-young finally picks up her call. He agrees to meet her later. Meanwhile, Jae-joon makes his own move. He visits Hye-sol's school and, looking at her, he promises that he will protect her. Deep inside, he has already accepted her as his daughter. Soon after, Jae-joon calls his lawyer. He wants to know how he can legally claim his rights as Hye-sol's father. But the lawyer tells him something he doesn't want to hear. He explains that Jae-joon has no chance of being recognized as the father unless Yeon-jin and Do-young get divorced. Later, Jae-joon meets with Yeon-jin directly. His anger boils over, and he grabs her by the throat, choking her as he confronts her about Hye-sol. Yeon-jin is shocked and frightened, but instead of fighting back, she distracts him and manages to calm him down by using sex. As Jae-joon secretly plans how to take back his daughter, Hye-jung focuses on a different challenge. She tries to win over her future mother-in-law. But this is far from easy, because the woman already knows Dong-eun. In fact, she had always hoped that Dong-eun would become her daughter-in-law instead. Because of this, she cannot stand Hye-jung at all. Realizing that she is in serious trouble, Hye-jung decides that her only option is to talk directly with Dong-eun. Finally, the daddy's event at Hye-sol's class takes place. Both Do-young and Jae-joon show up. Jae-joon tries to play it cool by pretending that he is only there to see Dong-eun, whom he introduces as an old high school friend. Do-young, however, is completely shocked when he realizes that Dong-eun is actually the teacher his daughter was talking about. To make matters worse, Jae-joon keeps throwing sly remarks and snide comments, clearly trying to get under Do-young's skin. And with this tense classroom encounter, the episode comes to an end.